my friends, I am so glad you stopped by today. If you're new to my channel, my name's Arlo. I've been making demos here in my home studio, recording some music, getting ready to go fly out to Los Angeles to record at Sunset Sound Studios. Well, I'm back from my trip, had an amazing time there, and I thought I'd just catch you up a little bit with some of the things that happened there. So we flew out on Monday, me and my wife flew out with me. We left here at our house like 2:30 in the morning. Okay, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday morning, getting ready for the flight. The driver coming to pick us up to take us to the JFK. Pretty tired. Oh, made it through security. Got the gig bag. So that's good. Now we go wait to board. And then we fly. 6 hours. We got to LA, got to our hotel, and the first day was just pretty much chilling, kind of getting our bearings in LA. We were staying right in Hollywood. It was a pretty crazy scene there, but it was a good time. So Monday was just chilling. Tuesday, we ended up going down to Venice Beach and chilling on the beach a little bit, and then I got back to the hotel and just kept cranking through the song. That's the biggest thing when you go to the studio is you got to really have the song down. Know your vocals, how you're gonna sing everything, guitar parts. So on Wednesday, my buddy Drew, who, like I've been telling you, he's the one who helped get us out there. He picked us up at our hotel about 11 o'clock in the morning. We headed over to the studio. I had rented a 65 Princeton amp from SIR Instrument Rentals. That place was incredible. They had all kinds of guitars hanging in there, road cases everywhere. And Sunset ended up sending a runner over. They have runners that go get food and help out through the day and all that. So they picked up the amp, brought it over, and we started getting set up. Before we started to play, Drew took us around, gave us a tour of the studio. We kind of walked through where all the different, there's 3 studios there. We were in Studio 1. That's one where Van Halen did a lot of recording. The Doors did the first 2 albums in there, and Janice was working on Pearl before she passed away. There was Studio 2, Studio 3. There were other bands in there, so we didn't get to look in those, unfortunately, for this trip. Hopefully, next time I get out. We got to walk around. We saw like all the gold and platinum albums hanging in the office. We got to go out and see the basketball court, the famous basketball court where Prince used to play, and other artists would go out there and congregate. You know, they were saying that you could be out there, and at one time it was like Cher and Elton John and Prince and all these people were all out there kind of hanging out in the courtyard all together. You'd see all these crazy people because they'd be in different studios. Once we got done checking out just how everything was laid out at Sunset, we headed back to start getting some sounds in the room. It was really cool. I got to meet Phil, the studio manager, super nice guy, very accommodating, and really liked him. Great person. And then I was really stoked because Paul Camerata, he came in, and he's the owner of the studio, and he came in and said hello, and talked to him real quick, and I was just really stoked to meet him because I've been seeing him in all Drew's videos, and you know, him owning that piece of history, that was pretty cool for me. He didn't think it was. I was like, oh, it was really great to meet you, and he was like, oh, really? Okay. just a real nice guy. And that's the one thing overall, I'll tell you right off the bat, is everybody I worked with there, from the session guys, the runners, my engineer, the assistant engineer, George, everybody was super nice. And it just really made you feel at home there. And I had like zero worries in there because I had Bill Mims, a phenomenal engineer, was doing the session. He's like working his butt off, running around. George, the assistant engineer, running around like those guys were like getting after it. Drew was just always checking to make sure everything was cool. So just I can't say enough great things about the studio, just in terms of how friendly and like I said, it just felt like being at home, which is kind of crazy, getting in the studio like that. But it was pretty. I was pretty calm through most of it. We did have a little snafu at the beginning. Bill was trying to get sounds from the drums, and we weren't getting sounds from some of the mics. And here the phantom power went out. So, and even then, I wasn't really worried, because as soon as Bill was like, "Ah, we don't have phantom power," he got on the phone. Two guys come in. They open up this door with like all this ancient stuff in there, and they started going through some stuff and pull modules out. That took a little bit to fix, but they fixed it really quick. And then we got drum sounds. My drummer Randy Cook, he's played with some amazing people, and his kit sounded unbelievable in that room. It was like it was like John Bonham was in there. I'm not kidding. It sounded that amazing. Then once you sit behind the console and you start listening, the sounds in there, it's nuts. Once we got drums, then they had gotten the bass while the phantom power was down, so then they started getting me with the vocals and some guitar stuff. Like I said, my session guys, I really lucked out. I had Randy Cook. He's played in Ringo Starr's band, Dave Stewart, and I go on a ton of different players. And then Justin Andres on bass. He plays with Eric Burden from the Animals. He's in his band. Those guys were super nice. They would hang out, talk to my wife. She sat in the lounge while we were doing this all day, which was really amazing. But it was interesting. At one point, my wife came to me and she's like, "Hey, Randy's asking about the demo you gave him. He's wondering if you want the drums to be exactly like the demo, because there's stuff he'd like to change, but he doesn't know if that's cool." And so I went in, I was like, "Hey, Randy, or he might have brought it to me and said, there's some things with the drums I hear, you might want to change some stuff." I was like, "Yeah, man, like, you're here to play drums, I want you to do with it whatever you want to do." Same with Justin, like, I want to have their own take on the song, because I kind of just wanted it to be real. And Randy said after, he's like, "You want to be real organic, like we're just gonna jam." I'm like, "Yeah, we're just gonna jam, man. It's gonna be all good." So I think that really put them both at ease. They're like, they could just do their thing, and they're pros, so I wasn't concerned. For me too, I kind of come from the, like Miles Davis would work with all his guys. Not that I'm Miles Davis, but he'd just say, play how you want to play, play what you're feeling. And at the time, like, that song, we could have done it different with different guys. I'm cool with that. I like that kind of spontaneity, and I like that when I play live. Like, I don't want to go into play a live show and play the same solo every night. I want to play different stuff and try to push myself. And so once we got that all settled, they went at it, and I just kind of was letting them. We started playing through the song and tracking it so we could get the drums and bass set up, and then I went and did guitar overdubs and vocals later. Man, Bill Mims, my engineer, got just phenomenal bass sound, drum sound. We were listening to it after we tracked all that, and he just crushed it. There wasn't anything in it where I was like, I wish the drums would do this. I wish the bass sound. It was like, this is exactly how I want this to sound. And Justin and Randy kept working on it. The whole time we're doing this now, my buddy Drew's got like 3 cameras. He's got a camera and gimbal. He's doing all this video stuff, so we're doing like multiple takes. I'm trying to remember lyrics. I'm trying to remember I'm playing guitar, and then I'm trying to listen to the drums and bass. Like, is this how we want the sound? Are we doing the correct structure here? Justin and Randy, pretty much, I just let them go, and they kind of got the structure all set. We played through, I don't know how many takes, maybe 9 or 10 takes, maybe the full song. And we listened back a couple times, Randy and Justin's enthusiasm was fantastic. At one point, Randy's like, I think we got it. Like, I don't think I'm going to hit the drums any differently or do anything different. I think sounds really good. So once we had that all wrapped up with the drums and the bass, then we went back into the room. We were kind of listening to guitar sounds. So me and Bill were sitting at the console, which was ridiculous. I mean, they have these ATC monitors in there, and then Yamaha NS10s, and the sound is like, I was telling a buddy of mine, it was like the first time I listened to Led Zeppelin 4 on vinyl, that feeling and that just how that sounded, but times like a billion. Like, it sounded so incredible. I like how stuff sounds in my little setup. My Atom speakers sound great when I listen to things, but in there, it's like a whole different level. And so me and Bill sat there. We listened to how everything sounded, and I'm listening to the guitar's tone. I'm like, I'm not happy with it. I didn't get it set. I was more concerned just how the structure of the song. So I kind of said, Bill, I was like, what do you think guitars? We could kind of fix up the rhythm. He's like, yeah. He's like, we got to work on that. So I went back out in the control room, got my guitar on, and started playing and listened to the headphones. Bill's like, how's this? I'm like, yep, now we're getting closer. I want a little more crunch, tight. And I turned up, I was just using my Keeley Blues driver into the Princeton, my guitar. So I didn't have like a ton of stuff going on. And I'm listening. I'm like, yep, keep going that way. And then he had it set. So once he had it good for the rhythm guitars, I played through the song again. I played it one way for the right rhythm guitar, and then I played it a little different again, how I was playing for the left rhythm. So we kind of had two different, it was the same guitar setup, but he tweaked how each left and right sounded from out there. So he was doing some EQing and some stuff out there to make them sound a little different. Once we got that laid down, then we started doing guitar solos. There's one in the middle, one at the end. So now I got to play guitar solos, and Drew is videotaping. And I'm like, oh, and he's got lights going, he's turning lights on and off, and he's really into it. Like, he's like, I want to get this looking awesome. I was like, cool. So we did a bunch of takes of that, and he's like, now make sure you play it about the same way every time. So we sync stuff up. I'm like, oh my God, like, okay. So I'm trying to play the solos pretty close, but every now and then I'd be like, ooh, I kind of like that. So I'd shift a little bit. So I hope I got everything for him, pretty close for him for the video and everything. So once we did a bunch of takes on the middle solo, then we went to the end solo and did the same thing. So we did a bunch more takes. Now it's getting to be like 7 o'clock at night. We've been going at it for 8 hours. I'd been up since about 1 o'clock in the morning night before because I couldn't really sleep. So I was getting super tired at this point. I was at the console listening, and I was like, oh my God, we got to do some vocals yet. So vocals, that was probably the most relaxed and the funnest part of the day for me. We got into the vocal booth. Bill had 3 different microphones set up. One of them was the Prince mic. It said right on it, Prince mic. And I think that was the one maybe he would hang he'd hang a microphone at the control at the board. He'd hang it there and do his vocals right from the board. So they had that, 2 other mics. We were kind of going through which ones we liked there. And me and Bill were in the room, and I was like, so Bill, like, this is the room like Jim Morrison sang in and Janis Joplin. He's like, yep. David Lee Roth. He's like, so many people sang in this room. Like, they came out with this years ago. It was like one of the first kind of vocal boosts that was really in a studio before they just had the singers right in the room with like orchestras and stuff. And they thought, hey, if we could kind of separate the vocalists, we could do some different things with the vocalists later. Bill was telling me just about all the crazy people who were in there, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And he's like, oh, you know what's incredible? Bill's saying I was doing a classic albums a couple weeks ago for I think it was Morrison Hotel, and where they come in, they talk about the album, and they kind of play different parts of the song, the vocals, the guitars, they split it up. And he said, yeah, so John Densmore came in, set his drums up over there. Robbie set up Krieger set up his guitar right there. And then he's like, I started to walk away to the control room, and they launched into Roadhouse Blues. And I was like, what was that like, Bill? And he was like, That was awesome. It was like, it was surreal and all that. Bill was great. I said too, I was like, what was the first session you worked on here, Bill, as a head engineer? And he's like, I started as a runner here. I worked up into be assistant, and then Audio Slave was coming in. And he's like, I begged the head engineer to let me do the session. He did, and he's like, I work with Tom Morello in here doing guitars for a couple weeks. And so we got vocals. I got into the booth and I started to chill a little bit. Once I got into the vocal booth, I got to calm down a little and just think about everything that happened during the day, like walking through the studio, seeing all the albums out in the office, and thinking about, Van Halen being in there, like recording Eruption and all these great artists. And then what we did during the day, working with Randy and Justin and Bill and George and Drew, working his butt off, taking all this video. And we got so much done in one day to record a song and to get all that video done. It was just pretty mind blowing to me. So I thought, wow, we really accomplished something. So then I got up to the vocal mics, we started testing them, and then I did a couple takes on the vocals. I'd sang the song so many times, I kind of knew how I wanted to sing it, so I think we did like 3 takes. I was like, I think we're pretty good here, right, Bill? He's like, well, let's do one more. He's like, just so I have a little bit more. And so we did that, got done, and then I went out and listened to it. And without even mixing yet, I was happy with how it sounded, like really happy. So yeah, me and Bill sat there. Then we started listening to the song and just like, what can we change? What can we do? And I was listening to the guitars, listening to vocals. I was like, the guitars, I usually put some delay in the guitars. They sounded pretty dry. I was like, they need to be wetter. And he's like, oh, they do. And I was like, yeah, and he's like, well, how about now? And then he soloed out the guitars. And he's like, I also got the echo chamber that's behind the door over here. I got that captured for the guitars and vocals. And then I got the plates in the other room. So I captured all that. So he starts adding in the plates, adds in the echo. And now I'm like, wow, it really sounded awesome. And he's like, so I'm going to play around with this. And, he's like, we can also do some doubling on the guitars. We can double, triple some of the vocals and some of the chorus parts. I was like, yeah, that sounds good. I think if you just do those couple things. We called it a day then. Everybody packed up. The runner took the amp back to SIR for me. And then me and Drew sat and we did like some interview. He asked me a couple questions for the video that's coming out. End of the day, Drew took us back to the hotel, and I got a nice picture with me and him out front of Sunset that was really great. For me, I can't say enough with Drew, like him helping get me out there. This guy's working on some crazy stuff right now. He's I think he's on he's got some people in, they're doing Orianthe. He's got an album going on. Gary Clark Jr.'s producer, Jake and Seba, he's in there working with her. That's going on this week. And he's got a lot going on, bigger things, and than dealing with this guy flying out from Connecticut that nobody knows about. But I guess he liked my guitar playing and heard some of the songs I was doing, and wanted to get me out there. He just loves music. He's told me that a couple times. He likes to see artists get out there and see what they can do. And I wanted to deliver for him, and I just can't thank him enough. So thanks, Drew, if you are watching this. I really appreciate you getting me out there. And like I told you before, I don't know that I'll ever be able to repay you for all this. I hope someday I can do something for you. I'll figure something out maybe, but I do appreciate it. So thank you. And yeah, so now just kind of waiting for I got the song Bill sent back to me with all the changes he made, and it sounds really awesome now that he's mixed it. We're sending it off to the mastering engineer next. He's got a buddy that's going to do that for us. And once I get that back, then I'll have it up on my Reward Music website. I'll have a link for that down below. You can check that out. Hit the little sign up button there because it'll give you updates when that's going to be on. And then Drew's finishing up the video. That's also going to go on my Reward Music website. Now moving into the next phase, which is getting all this up, and then I want to get a band together. I want to get some guys together and start playing some of these songs I'm writing. I'm going to start writing. I got a ton more songs I'm working on right now, and hopefully start playing some live shows again, and then get back to the studio and try to record a bunch more songs. So it was an amazing trip. Like I said, I'm gonna be talking about this trip some more in some of my Sunday Jam videos and Sunday, and just lots of other cool things happened there that I'm gonna share with you yet. So make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the little bell for YouTube. Make sure you go to my Reward Music website, hit the sign up there, hit a subscription. It'd be cool, get a T-shirt. And that just, I'm trying to save more dough so I can, like I said, get back in the studio. So super happy with Sunset Sound. I can't say enough. Definitely worth flying from Connecticut to California to do that, and definitely gonna do it again. Cannot wait. Thanks everybody that's been supporting me. Everybody that's bought T-shirts, subscriptions. I really appreciate all you guys, and everybody sending me messages and emails and just get me fired up for the session. I really appreciate everyone, and love all of you. So thanks so much. All right, I'm gonna get to recording some more music, working on a new song, and hope to see you soon. Check out Sunday Jam will be coming up soon. Hope you guys get to play some guitar today. You take care now.